I never wanted to be a team lead. I never wanted my own brokerage. I never wanted to be a broker, but my business partner, Lauren, did, and that was kind of always her dream. She encouraged me to venture on with her and start our own company. There is a mindset that you have to have. There is a drive that you have to have, and there's just a passion behind. We absolutely have all of our agents engaged, and if they're not, then this may not be the place for them. I do believe that the persona of an agent can be misconstrued or thought to be an easy job. There's so many deals that I've won or so many things that I've done for my clients just because I knew the contracts better. Everything's just really driven through my intuition. I just trust my gut, and I'm very risk tolerant.
Welcome to High-End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Management Luxury Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Lindell Johnson. Today, we have a special guest. We have Mandy Poff.
Hello.
So, Mandy is an incredible entrepreneur. She is one of the owners of Inspired Realty and Co. Mm-hmm. It's a realty company that has knowledge of commercial transactions, land development, remodeling, and an award-winning interior design company.
Thank you so much for that intro.
Do me a favor, walk me through, what it's like being you and how you got to, owning this incredible business.
Okay. Well, I got my real estate license in 2006, and when I graduated high school, I went to community college and thought, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? My sister was selling new homes, and I said, they offer real estate classes. I'll spend 2 years doing those. And so I did, and I started selling real estate in San Antonio, and it was just so fun. Like, I really enjoyed, I've always loved people and, business development activities, and so it just really fit with my personality, and I never stopped.
I could see it. So you're an agent, right? You were an agent, and then you said, was there like a specific moment where you said, you know what, I am now going to be my own boss?
My business partner, Lauren, did, and that was kind of always her dream. And so I was a very high-producing agent in the area. I had been with a big-name brokerage and wasn't really finding what I needed in it, and so she encouraged me to venture on with her and start our own company. We started at a smaller brokerage together that was bought out, and so that was very community-driven. All of the agents were like a little family, and it was a culture that I had never experienced before. And so when they were purchased, we went our separate ways, and Lauren and I started working together in a different capacity. And that's when she saw the trouble that I was having at that other brokerage and said, we need to just start our own and create that culture again. And that's exactly what we did. And it's just been such a beautiful experience.
So the culture that you had before, it's the same culture that you have now.
Absolutely.
How many team members do you have?
So we have 20 agents.
Wow.
We're almost 2 years old. So,
wow.
Yeah, as an independent brokerage, we knew that if we were going to do this, we had to come out swinging.
A question I love to ask entrepreneurs is, you have in your mind what the culture should be,
yes.
Right? So you saw culture that worked, that actually spoke to who you are as a person. But as you are bringing on these new team members, how do you make sure that that culture still remains the same? That's
a great question. And it is something that we actually address daily, and we address it in every single interview. The container within our company, the culture is first and foremost. So with that being said, there is a mindset that you have to have. There is a drive that you have to have. And there's just a passion behind you that you have to have. And we can see that in the interview. We can see that through the questions that we ask. And we are not a hang your license brokerage. We absolutely have all of our agents engaged. And if they're not, then this may not be the place for them.
There was an article that came out a couple weeks ago that talked about agents leaving the industry. And it was a huge amount. It was like over 45% of real estate agents that were doing the job have now said, you know what, I'm no longer going to sell homes, or, I'm leaving the industry and I'm going to do something else. What do you think is some of the reason for that, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that obtaining a license in general can be fairly simple. I do believe that the persona of an agent can be, misconstrued or thought to be an easy job or not a lot of education required. But I would argue to say that that is completely opposite of what this position is. You hold a title and you hold a position where you are with someone's largest asset. You are the need for contract knowledge is critical. There's so many deals that I've won or so many things that I've done for my clients just because I knew the contracts better. Yeah. And that's huge. That's why these people are hiring you. So I would say that once an individual actually engages in the business and sees what it really takes to understand title, surveys, appraisals, how to argue those things and how to, reverse whatever has been given to you. If there's an appraisal that didn't meet value or an appraiser's having trouble making value and you can show them how you met that value, that is a key point for your seller or, someone to be able to make money on their deal or lose the deal.
Absolutely.
So I think when you start really having to understand that knowledge is key in this business and it's not easy, that's where people tend to taper off. I always say if you can make it 18 months, you can make it.
You said that earlier. Mm-hmm. So 18 months is pretty much almost like, not like I go to gym now, but they say if you go to the gym consistently or you do anything consistently for like 3 weeks,
you'll start finally seeing some results.
Yeah, right.
But we lose track of the gym on day 3.
Right.
Or the diet,
Exactly.
So
exactly. I'm not speaking from experience.
No experience here.
I'm
speaking for a friend.
What type of person would be the perfect person to actually, deal with you?
Well, I would definitely say the first thing is to be able to identify the personality of those who you want to work with.
Okay.
A great working relationship is key because you have to be able to trust your agent because there's a lot of things that they'll tell you that you may not want to hear, but you need to hear. Down to whenever I'm walking a home for sale, I have those tough conversations of, if you leave this paint, it's going to cost you $10,000 on your sales price. A lot of people don't want to take the time to improve the paint, but if you will be the agent who, has the tough conversations, but also has the passion and the drive behind it of, Mr. Seller, if you do X, I'll do Y, and together we'll accomplish this.
Right.
So I would say personality, passion, confidence to have those conversations, and then contract knowledge. I can't drive that home enough. Contract knowledge, geographical knowledge, negotiating skills. And it doesn't hurt to just, have a good personality too.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I, looking and doing my research on you guys, that interior design piece, I think that is something that is another feather in your cap that sets you apart from others. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that. How did that come about?
Yeah, it started out as a creative process. As an agent, you're walking homes and having the conversation. You're in new builds all the time, so you see what it takes to build a home from dirt to a vertical structure. Right. And then also having been in the commercial industry and in the development field, when it comes to, again, turning dirt into a vertical structure, you have so many nuances in between that you're in the construction piece or in the design piece. And so it was a natural evolution of the company because we had done so many projects to officially begin to, get paid in a different capacity.
Right.
But it's been a really fun creative outlet. My business partner, Lauren, has her degree in interior design. So it's so amazing to see her on the computer and to create these 3D models of what it is of the selections that, I'm helping choose. And then for us to be able to show that to the client of, I know you hate this kitchen, but look at what this kitchen could be in the 3D model before they even purchase a home.
Right.
It helps them to have an educated decision made because they know what they can do with the space. But then it also gives us that ability to service our clients in a completely different way.
Wow, that's incredible because I think there aren't a lot of people that are doing it or companies that are doing it just like you are. You are leading the trail in this.
We definitely said when we started Inspired Realty and Co. that we were 5 to 7 years ahead of where the real estate curve is.
Yeah.
We do know that the things that we're implementing, the strategies that we have right now are definitely going to be emulated later by other companies, but we'll be on to something way more innovative by that time.
What's next?
Oh gosh, what's next? That's a great question. If I could tell you, then I would know it myself. Really right now we have such a great momentum and such a great team that making sure that we're continuing to cultivate, the culture in our office, that we're continuing to service our clients. What we do is we implement a lot of community events, a lot of, partnerships with other businesses. We're all about women empowerment, even though we do have some men on our team. So really engaging with our community that we've formulated through Inspired is kind of, I think, what's next, is just really solidifying and helping empower others.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
That's beautiful. Every interviewer, I love to ask the magic wand question about going back in time. Through your journey of life, if you can go back in time and change something, would there be anything you would change? And if so, what would that be?
That's a really great loaded question, isn't it? Always. I don't think so. I don't think I would change anything. I really have enjoyed my life. I think it's been just fun. I guess I would say no. I just wouldn't change anything. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm very content.
Oftentimes, when I think back, I think my journey has been planned out. I think God really did set me on a trail to where I am today. I went from being a Marine.
Oh, cool.
Once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
Yeah.
But, college.
They say hoo-yah? Hoorah.
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 Say it again.
Hoorah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hoorah. My grandfather was a general.
So you're in the Marine Corps family.
He was Air Force.
Okay,
Yeah.
but still in the military family.
Oh yeah, my dad was a staff sergeant. My brother was a corpsman.
Oh, okay. Navy corpsman?
Yeah, Navy corpsman.
Nice.
Yeah.
The military is great. I love it. I love what it did for me, for my family. But as a business owner, it really teaches you things that you probably may not have learned at this point of your life. That how to be a leader, how to be on time, be respectable, how just you learn so much from being in the military. But if I was to go back in time, just like you, I don't think I would change anything. I think everything was for a reason.
Yeah.
And now it's to build. So now you've built this incredible company.
Thank you.
Now you're helping people. And I really applaud you for what you've done and what you're doing.
Everything's just really driven through my intuition. I just trust my gut, and I'm very risk tolerant. So when there's an opportunity, I tend not to shy away from them. If it feels exciting, I know that that's probably where I need to be. And when I start to feel stagnant, that's probably where I need to exit. So, and trusting that has really led me here.
So, what's interesting about that? So if you have a partner, which you do, is it easy to do the same thing or have the same, thought process, or is it a lot of debating that goes back and forth when you're with someone else?
So I've actually had 3 business partners in my life. The first one did not work out. We had a dissolution. The second one was the first absolute best partnership I ever had. One, I will say both of my successful partners are Leos. I'm an Aries. And there is some truth to that. So definitely look at their sign and the compatibility. But the first partnership was when we started the development company, Breaking Ground Development. And his name is Andrew Allemond, and he's in our company now. That taught me so much about having a business partner and not, you have a spouse and you talk to them differently, but really, truly, my business partnerships were always so much more successful because there was just this absolute level of respect for the other person. And then, not that there's not at the home side, but you could just get a little bit more laxed there, which you shouldn't, is what I was trying to say, is they should be the same. They should be very the same. But my second partnership came with Lauren, and again, a Leo. And again, it was that very much the level of respect that I had for her opinion, her thoughts, listening to her, and giving just objective thoughts of my own, but coming to a resolution together. She and I think very similarly, so we don't combat in that way. But there are times that her opinion is different, and for me, it's great because it's a different vantage point.
Right.
So I look at everything that my business partners do as just another vantage point, or just a perspective that I hadn't thought of, and it's beneficial to me in that way.
You know, I've heard, you know, other business owners say that being a business owner is probably one of the loneliest.
It is.
Things to go through.
Talk about isolation. Yeah.
And, you know, having someone that's in that fighting home with you.
I say that all the time. Yeah. So I have other business owner friends, and they're like, how do you have a partner? And I'm just like, well, you've got to have the respect. And they're like, I'm just so in it by myself. And I resonate with that, because as an agent, you start out by yourself.
That's right.
And so unless you have that self-motivation or you're bathing in it daily, you know, it's tough. But
right.
There's some who have it. It's just that natural fire. And I mean, I don't know. I'm a generator, so I just keep going. And to bring people along with me is the goal. Outside
of her, is there anyone that pulls you back and says, hey, that decision or that what you're thinking of doing is not the right decision? Like, you shouldn't have, like, I don't know an idea. But, you know, someone that pulls you back and says, you know, what you're doing is wrong. Or someone on the flip side to that saying, you know, hey, you're doubting yourself. This is the way you should go. You can do it.
Yeah. So I typically am that person for others.
And
I am that person for myself. You know, I really do talk to myself. I journal, I meditate, I get quiet. I try to do it daily. So I listen to my higher self a lot. But if I had to pick somebody here, I would say my business partner, Lauren, my other business partner, Andrew. And then I have a really great group of girlfriends who just are sounding boards for me, not in the industry that I can, you know, I have a monthly dinner that I have with a few of my girlfriends.
Nice.
It's called the Myrrh, because we're going to open a hotel in Galveston, and it's going to be called the Myrrh. You know?
Please write that down.
Yes.
The Myrrh. Coming when?
Well, it's not purchased yet, but it
will be there.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be very like luxury, Great Gatsby feel.
Yeah.
That whole vibe.
Can I get a weekend free?
You definitely. You can go to a grand opening. I mean, I definitely have to check with my business partners. There'll be 2 new ones. But that's key, right? Is keeping that level of respect.
Right, absolutely.
So yeah, I've just got a really great circle. And I keep my circle, like I said, the container in our office.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit, we are not hesitant to say that, you know, it's not a mutually beneficial relationship for us anymore.
You know, the last question I'm going to ask you, it's in regards to what just came out this week.
Okay.
This week, the news came out that the interest rates have gone down. And do you see a difference in sales because of that, or do you think, you know, it's going to take a while? Or what's your opinion on that? What do you think it's going to come out of this?
I always thought it was really funny, the market the last 3 years, watching it. When the interest rates turned, it took about 3 to 6 months for everybody to recalibrate and understand that that was the current market. I think when they drop, it'll be faster, but I don't know that we've had enough of a significant drop to really impact the payments that people will be seeing. What I do think is it's going to help open up the threshold of the active buyers, their limits. So they may be able to look for a little bit more expensive of a home now. I don't necessarily think it's going to draw out a ton of buyers in the immediate. I think it'll be that 3 to 6 month again where we start to see it recalibrate.
Right. All right.
It's just my opinion. I think all the experts will say if there's a % drop, you're going to have 11 million people come out. And that might be true. But in my experience of what I'm seeing in the current market, I think that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think that buyers need to be wary of, wanting for this interest rate to keep continuing to drop, because
there is the other side of the coin.
That price is then going to go up because what goes down? Inventory.
Right. And the demand will increase.
Right.
That's the natural business cycle of it all. It will, but now whether it's going to increase, drastically in the immediate, I think that people are still hesitant and people are still moving if they need to, not as much leisurely moving. Or not as many investment properties being purchased by owner operators, not corporations.
Right, great point. And we are seeing that. So in our business, we're 100% investors, right? All investors, and our numbers are going down because just like what you're saying, people are moving because they need to, rather than they're really
like recreational moving.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. They're not really doing that as much.
I do believe in 90 days to 6 months, we will see a change in that, and that demand will increase. But again, I think it's going to take people a minute to, one, trust that the environment feels good, because I think everybody's just a little bit uncomfortable right now.
Right.
So once they can see and feel others doing it, they will kind of get that herd mentality and do it themselves.
Got it. Well, I agree with you 100%. This has been a great talk.
This is fun.
Happy you came.
Yeah.
Once again, we have Mandy Poff from Inspired Realty and Co.
And
once again, thank you for coming, and thank you for spending time with me.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks. Yeah.